Good morning. It's August 16th, 2015, and this is The Speaker's Corner. Visual graphics. Transition. Boom. Hi, welcome again to another Sunday with The Speaker's Corner. I am Thom. I'll be kicking off the introductions this week. I'm Thom, coming to you from Woodside, New York. That's Queens. To my immediate left, on my screen, which may not be what you see, I have from lovely Gainesville, Florida, not just a guest and panelist on the show, but also the master of the dials behind the scene, Michelle Lynch, a.k.a. Ziggy. How you doing?
Boop, 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 boop. Very good. It's a lovely day in Gainesville. We have had an opportunity to watch the Battle of Gainesville take place outside my back door, and it has been a lovely weekend thus far. I look forward to the day with you guys.
Sweet, sweet. Ooh. And two squares down on my left, again, maybe not your left, coming to us from lovely Johns Creek, Georgia, a hamlet on the outskirts of Atlanta, is Frank Heathington. Say hey, Frank.
I want to say happy birthday to Madonna this morning.
Oh, get out. It's her birthday?
Yeah.
Or you just want to say happy birthday to her?
I just want to say happy birthday.
What is she, like 74?
58 she was born.
She's born in 58, making her math I can't do. 50,
Yeah, agreed.
50, so she's 57.
65.
65.
She's 65? No.
No, wait, that's not right. That's not right, math.
Right.
58, she's 50, then she's 57. If she was born in 58.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that
Hey,
makes sense because it's 2015. Haha.
But you know what turned 50 yesterday, and I was completely shocked about?
What's that?
50 years ago yesterday, the Beatles played Shea Stadium, which blew it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Half a
The
century
Ramones
ago.
played at CBGB's, I don't know how many years ago, but today as well.
And in 1977, Elvis died today.
Oh, the king.
He's the king. But
so,
this Wednesday, something's also happening.
World Elephant Day.
Indigestion from Taco Tuesday.
Good ones, guys. It's actually National Aviation Day. We celebrate the airplane being birds and being, daedalus, reaching for the sun.
Very good. Ooh, nice Greek mythology ref. You earn your humanities points.
Wait a second. Wasn't that the name of the space station in Space Camp?
The movie?
No, the video game.
Daedalus.
Oh.
Man,
I don't know, but we can look it up.
Your unmute is the loudest farking thing in the planet. What the hell? It sounds like clack, clack. Clack, clack. Are you using a truly mechanical keyboard? Is it like steampunk? It's like metal pistons and there's fuses, a row of fuses at the top.
He took an old typewriter and he has steampunked that out.
He's using a speak and spell to type this morning. Oh, shit. Speaking of Aviation Day, I wanted to mention that I just was hearing about, as many of you know, I'm not sure if you're aware, maybe if you're, those of us in America, maybe not in the rest of the world, we're currently in our presidential election, which lasts about as long as the gestation of an elephant, I believe. So we've got another year plus for that. But it's the Iowa State Fair, which is a chance for a lot of the candidates to show up, eat pork chops on a stick, and look at sculptures made out of butter.
And judge the largest pig and most beautiful cow.
Exactly.
I loved it the last election cycle when Michelle Bachmann had a giant corn dog stuck to her mouth and she was opening it wide.
Oh. Poor candidates should never eat food it never does well. Bachmann had that problem over in the UK. The candidate for Labour Prime Minister, or the leader of the Labour Party, Miliband, David Miliband, famously got shown eating a bacon sandwich. And it was just kind of just awkward. Politicians don't ever eat. Just don't eat food. Don't eat food or use the bathroom.
What's the idea behind that? I too can eat like you.
Because with these, the ability to like take, so many photos a second, they're gonna get that perfect moment with your maw open and or something hanging out of your teeth. Just don't eat. Don't eat. Pass.
Yes.
But who didn't pass by and did land, and this is what the aviation thing was. Of course, Trump showed up in his, flying in on his helicopter with the big T in gold emblazoned on the side. Apparently, he gave children rides on the helicopter. I'm not making this up. So.
Oh, that's so benevolent of him.
A week cannot pass without a mention of Trump. But he didn't jump from his helicopter, unlike someone else who this week, you said, Frank, marked an anniversary of jumping.
Yeah, way back in 1960, we had our friend named Joseph Kittinger jump from a height of 102,000 feet. At the time, it was the fastest high-altitude jump, free-fall height, and fastest speed by a human without an aircraft.
Good grief.
I wonder if Kittinger is Henry Kittinger. Any of it now?
That would be a Kissinger.
Kissinger?
Oh, it's Kissinger. Thanks, guys.
No problem, Mr. President. I have a great, one day, we don't have time for it, but I got a great Kissinger story. Actually, it's pretty short. So, my friend years ago, there was this show that Verbatim Verboten is it's a show that you can go see, a stage show, but it changes every time you see it because it's based on, they use actual recorded text or dialogue that they recreate on stage, and so this one happened to be. It was all politicians and phone recordings, and so actors would get up and just read, basically. And so the first scene was a call between the secretary for the Prime Minister of England and Henry Kissinger, and so it was so it was the Prime Minister's office calling to speak with Richard Nixon. And so it's like, hello, this is the the secretary for the Prime Minister. I'd like to speak to you. The Prime Minister wishes to speak to Mr. President Nixon. Hello, this is Henry Kissinger. The president is not available. And so it went back and forth a bit. And so it was like, no, this is very important. It has to, blah, 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 blah. He goes, I'm sorry, but the president is not available. Here's how you say drunk. And there's all this, like, political, like, no, he can't talk. No, we really need to talk to him. No, he can't. No, talk. All right, let me level with you. He can't talk right now. Oh, Kissinger. All right. Nixon.
Oh, Nixon.
Speaking of history, also this week was VJ Day. The 70th VJ Day was yesterday. That's Victory Japan, the surrender and effective end of World War II. And it marked the first time that an emperor of Japan, the current seated emperor, professed not a full-on apology, but expressed regret at Japan's military past during the 30s and 40s. It was very huge. I mean, everyone had been so concerned about what the Prime Minister might say, because the Prime Minister, Abe, has been a lot more militaristic, trying to rewrite Japan's constitution, moving them away from just kind of a defensive constitution to something where they could actually engage in military action. So they were.
Are there sights on the horizon that you might see that he would want to do that, or is it just a protective?
Oh, I mean, I think it's the face-off between in the depending on what you call the sea, with China over all those islands, over the water inlets. I think there's a desire to move to a more, or his party wants, or maybe he himself and some elements of his party want to move to a more aggressive as opposed to defensive portion in relation to a retaliation against China, especially also concerned about how the U.S., the pivot to Pacific is, will the U.S. always be 100% Japan, or will it start to balance things out? So I think that's why people are concerned about him. But the emperor did express, it was very. I heard a translation of it on the radio, and it was very it's very heartfelt. Yeah.
How do they keep track of the emperor if that's not a thing anymore?
No, the emperor is still much like the King of England. He does it. The Emperor of Japan has not. His political power has waned since X. I don't know when. I mean, much like the Emperor of China. The Emperor of China no longer exists. The last one.
That's who I'm thinking of. Then okay.
Yeah. No. Japan still maintains their royal lineage and still has an emperor. Mm-hmm.
In name, at least.
In name, I mean, he is technically the head of state, probably much like the Queen of England is technically the head of state.
And owns a lot of stuff.
Right, but she can't really, the Prime Minister will meet with her to advise and get feedback, but he doesn't have to do anything she says.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Royalty always pisses me off, but you know what? I want to talk about something about that's money and something that does piss me off, and this is something that shouldn't piss me off, but it does piss me off.
Oh, I love these. Yes.
Things that piss Tom off, they shouldn't piss him off. Maybe this should piss me off, but so you may have remembered that there was this big manhunt in New York for the 2 escaped convicts.
No.
23 days.
Yeah, it was like what 2 months ago this occurred.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, not recent.
Yeah, not recent.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was like 23 days or something. They were like on the run, and they were finally caught. Like 30. Like one was killed, and the other one was wounded and then captured. They just released the cost in overtime, and so this manhunt cost approximately, if you break it down by the days and the overtime, nearly $1 million a day. In overtime. To catch these 2 escaped felons.
What kind of felonies are we talking about? Are these people they're going to go and... Huh?
These were like, one was a convicted murderer and the other one was a rapist arsonist. I don't remember what they did. These were not most pleasant gentlemen, so they weren't like chasing an embezzler or something. So, but still, $1 million in overtime for it. Technically, that's why I said it shouldn't piss me off, because I understand that these were potentially dangerous individuals on the lam, but at the same time, holy shnikes, they've nearly doubled the overtime expenses from the previous period last year.
I mean, there has to be... I was listening... There has to be a better way of doing it. I was listening to or reading, I forget which one at this point. There is a company that has created a, eye that they're watching all the time. And they put them over the cities. And would that not help resolve things? But would that not just be freakier than...
Is this some kind of, neo-panopticon?
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely a neo-panopticon where they can rewind and figure out where the bank heist was going to and how they all met up and then dispersed. And
so this is Minority Report or something. This is
essentially we have that now, and there's a company that is trying to get cities to buy it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Scary. I want to do.
Yeah.
Speaking of rewind, there's 2 rewinds I think I wanted to. One rewind is Frank pointed out and Michelle confirmed that we did not last week mark the passing of one of our legends of our childhood, and that would be Mr. Rowdy Roddy Piper, professional wrestler, badass fighter of aliens,
bagpiper,
Canadian. And childhood hero, and so died at 61 years of age.
I forgot he was Canadian.
He was Canadian.
What did you say that his famous quote was? He had tons of famous quotes.
Oh, I was quoting from They Live, which is the great sci-fi classic, which was a line. He walks into the bank, and he's got his sunshades on so that he can see who are the aliens and who are the people. And he says, "I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum." And he proceeds to unload on all the aliens. I didn't post it online because out of context, people would just think I just posted a video of a guy walking into a bank and shooting people. And I was like, this is not the climate to do that.
Yeah.
He was shooting aliens, not people.
Yeah, you'd have to see the context.
the second rewind was a rewind to an old bit we used to do, which was What's on Frank's DVR. And I believe Frank has something that he's been watching that he wants to share with us.
Divergent. No, that's not it.
You can keep that to yourself.
What's the one? Deliverance. No. Defiance is on our DVR. Defiance. And what else is on our DVR? Project Runway.
Project Runway.
And what else? So you think you could dance. Rizzoli and Isles.
You need to add the Supersizers Go.
Maybe it's not on your DVR, and I've screwed this up. It was a geography show you're watching?
That is right. It's called Geography Now. That'll plug out to a guy I know on YouTube. He's doing a YouTube show, but he's doing every single country alphabetically. So I guess that's 187 countries, and he's only through like maybe 45 of them.
What's the first country? Abkhazia? I mean, I guess if you...
Albania.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, look them up. Geography Now, if you're a geography geek like me. So I was watching an episode last night, and
I'm gonna fight. He did not recognize the breakaway region of Abkhazia, which was formerly part of Georgia. So I win. A-B.
But I believe that would be an enclave and not a country.
Oh.
But I believe
It's partially recognized state. Continue.
One of the ongoing unresolved issues I have with this podcast is I never seem to stump Thom on any country I've ever put out there. So I've tried to obscure. What's the word? Obscure yet be completely confusing at the same time.
That word.
Yes.
That word, whatever that word is. And I believe I have 5 hints that you will not get this country.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. And Michelle can play along too.
My hands show I'm not searching.
All right. So this population of people called Amerindians make up half of the population. Amerindians.
Uh-huh.
Amerindians. So we're talking like 55.
Amerindians.
Amerindians.
Yeah.
Amerindians.
Frank.
I think I already know what it is. I gotta know what it is.
I am landlocked, but I have a navy.
Yeah.
In my flag, I have 6 flags of my own flag.
Yeah.
And lots of Israelis visit me.
Yeah.
What country am I? And I technically have 2 capitals.
2? How do you have 2 capitals?
It's not Peru?
Not Peru, but he's a
cousin. Or is it Paraguay?
Not Paraguay.
Ecuador? Or Bolivia. Damn it! I was trying to remember. This is where I screwed up. Because the president of Bolivia is an Amerindian. He's the first Amerindian to be a president of. I should have known that. Damn it!
That's okay.
So now I'm 1 for 107.
I gotta admit, I was really thrown off by the Israelis visiting. Is there an explanation for that?
A lot of Israelis tend to visit Bolivia for the exchange rate. I did not know this either until I saw the Geography Now plug yesterday. So there you go. The more you know.
Well, I love learning.
Yes.
I love learning. Which is going to lead us to learning about the Asshat of the Week.
Yes.
I'm borrowing a page out of Time magazine, and one of their worst persons of the year. So forgive me, because I remember complaining. I've always complained about Time magazine. So those of you who know me may know where I'm going with this. And so the Asshat of the Week is us. All of us. All of you out there. And specifically, us in our passive or unconscious desire for an echo chamber, and then our indignation when we don't get it. And specifically what I mean is I was watching my wife fight a cousin of hers who's he's a conservative. He's an elected official in the area of upstate New York that she grew up in. And he was going online on this rant. And Kay was surprised because it seemed very even though he's conservative, it seemed like this was almost like shock jock punditry that he was kind of espousing, and so she was having a hard time, like, does he really believe this, or does he feel he has to say this? And so she got locked into one of these fights with him because she reacted against it. What it was criticism of the mayor of New York City for something that he did, but he didn't really do. And then Kate's indignation at people who don't even live here complaining about how New York's falling apart or something. But I tried to express, I said to Kate, I was like, no, the problem is, and the fight that you're getting in is, everyone feels like they can say something and expect everyone to be like, yeah, right, because they're expecting that echo chamber to happen. And so then there becomes this like anger and shock when someone kind of pipe up and says, no, that's not right. And then it suddenly becomes, you're stupid. So I'm calling all of this, because we've all done this at some point, where we looked at someone across the aisle, across from our viewpoint, and instinctively said, that person is dumb.
So is that like the straw man effect, when you try to get the most
logical fallacies?
Like the most heinous argument you can come up with, like the Iran deal with Obama right now. Like, you're going to criticize him because we're going to go to nuclear war with him because of the sanctions or whatever. Is that like the straw man effect with argument?
That's not exactly a straw man. I'll say, because straw man is where you set up something intentionally to be a knockdownable target, which then somehow you imply gives you victory in the argument. It's like that wasn't even a starting point to what? It's creating a false victory because you created something that you knowingly could knock down and be like, haha.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
So I say it's us. We need to stop believing, all of us, because we all do it at some point. Maybe not to the extent that some of our friends do, but we've all done it. And so just being cognizant of when we're falling into the belief of an echo chamber or a desire for an echo chamber, and be ready for a response, a negative response to an opinion we have.
It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree. We can talk about it. That's how that happens.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
Amen.
I give free hugs.
Aww.
Free hugs.
That's what this show's about. And you watch sometimes 2, sometimes 4. Sometimes we have special guests coming together to have dialogue. This is not an echo chamber, because we do sometimes, as you've seen in the past, have opposing viewpoints. But we talk about it. We listen to each other, which is just as important as sharing opinions.
Absolutely.
And we learn.
Yes. And I think that if we can express that to, and as you did, to everyone out there, it would be we can make a better world just that easy. It is that easy.
And to have your opinion less landlocked. And to touch the sea of knowledge.
Like
Bolivia. Well, I think that brought it in the books for the week, right?
I think so.
Oh, how wonderful! That we missed our illustrious host with the mostest that is usually at the top, Jeff. But hopefully we'll see his bright shining face next week. And you don't have to think like me.
And you don't have to think like me.
I don't think.
But we ask that you do, and come see us at weaskyoutothink.com.